Hey everyone, welcome to Roman Just Codes. I'm Roman and I'm thrilled to introduce this series of videos where we will build WatchFace apps using Flutter and Rive. In this video, we'll be laying down the foundation. We'll perform the launcher hack to take over the Watch UI, configure our Android manifest for wearOS, and set up the project to target modern hardware like the Pixel Watch 2. Before we write a single line of code, we need to talk hardware. I've curated a lineup of some of the most important devices for any Android Wear OS developer. Let's crack this open and see what we're building on. First up, the Google Pixel Watch 2. This is our baseline. It's powered by the Snapdragon W5 Gen 1 processor, which is exactly what you want for a Rive-heavy UI. It provides that smooth 60 frames per second performance that we need for our animations. It runs wearOS 4.0 out of the box, upgradable to wearOS 5.0, so we're targeting SDK 30 and up. To connect, we'll be using wireless ADB over Wi-Fi, clean, fast, and no cables required. Next, we have the Samsung Galaxy Watch 7. This is the current performance king. It's running a 3nm Exynos processor, which is incredibly efficient. Now, this runs wearOS 5.0, but with Samsung's One UI watch layer. For our series, this is crucial because we need to see how our launcher hack performs under Samsung-specific power management. If our Rive animations look fluid here, they will look fluid anywhere. And for those of you who want to push the boundaries, I have these third-party full Android watches. These are in wearOS. They run full Android 11. Because they run a standard Android build, we can sideload almost any APK without Google Play restrictions. They often feature classic Bluetooth for phone communication, which is a great alternative for developers building specialized standalone tools. It's the perfect wildcard for our testing. 3 different watches, 3 different ecosystems, but one unified Flutter codebase. Now that we know what we're working with, let's get started. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Google's XML requirement. Starting this year, if you want to publish a standard watch face on Google Play, you are forced to use the WatchFace Format, or WFF. This is a strictly declarative XML layout. The problem? Almost zero executable code. No Flutter logic, no Rive state machines, no custom animations. It's efficient for the battery, but it's a cage for developers who want to push the boundaries of UI. And that is why we're taking a completely different path. We're building our project as a home launcher. By designating our app as the watch's default home screen app in the Android manifest, we bypass those XML limitations. This is a WatchFace app on steroids. We get the full power of the Flutter engine and the high-end vector rendering engine of Rive, all while running natively on your wrist. It's the ultimate workaround for developers who want to create truly interactive experiences that Google's XML format simply can't handle. For a launcher app that runs the full Flutter engine, you need hardware with some serious overhead. The Samsung Galaxy Watch 7 is the best choice for this hack because its 3nm hardware processor handles the background processing of the launcher much more efficiently than older chips. And because we're building this as a launcher, your users will have to manually select this application as their home app in the watch settings for it to function as its primary watch face. And with that, let's get started. So let's start by creating a Flutter empty project, because pretty much we're going to create a very simple experience. All we want is some sort of a host for the Rive experience. We're going to be creating a timer, which will be feeding the time information to the Rive animation in order to keep it in sync with the device's time, right? So that is exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to keep it super simple. So let's start with that. Let's create a Flutter create, and then let's call it clock app, just like that. And then let's make it empty. Let's at least make sure that everything is running accordingly. So we're just going to run it, let's say, even on a Chrome browser, just to make sure that the project is set up correctly. And if you see, we get the usual hello world from a Flutter empty project. So we should be good to go. Let's continue working on the project. So by going to the main.dart, and if you see, this is just the very basic stuff that you usually see on an empty project, and that's exactly how we're going to keep it. We're going to keep it super simple and straightforward. Let's just create a very simple clock widget that will contain the timer, and it will rebuild the widget every second, pretty much, using a timer periodic. So I'm going to be creating a stateful widget. I'm going to call it my clock or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And then what this widget will contain, we're going to make it super simple. We're going to start just by displaying the timer. So what are we going to do in here? So the scaffold, we're going to make the background. For now, we can start it with a, with a background color of black. And instead of having this widget, we're going to just show my clock right away here. It's going to be very simple, like I said. So now in the stateful widget, we probably want to have like a timer. And it's going to be, like I said, super straightforward, very simple. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So in the stateful widget, I'm going to override the init state. And I'm going to create a method called start timer. The only thing that this method will do is just have a timer periodic that will execute every 1 second. So as you can see, the timer.periodic constructor in Flutter creates a repeating timer that executes a specified callback function at regular intervals until it is manually canceled. It is part of the Dart async library. So what we're going to do inside of the timer is just print the datetime.now result. And if you see, the time is just printing out normally as you would just print out the date time. It's just printing in the console, and that's exactly what you're going to be passing to Rive. Instead of letting Rive handle the logic for the time, we're actually going to feed it into Rive in order to keep it in sync with the device's time. Now we want to display it right here on the screen in a very simple way. We're just setting things up. We're setting the scaffolding and the pieces to then feed this information into Rive. But at least let's set up those pieces right here. So I want to handle the time in the 12-hour format as opposed to the 24-hour format. So we're going to do it very simple. And because we're going to keep it very simple and we're going to handle it locally right now, we're just going to trigger via set state. We're just going to rebuild the widget and just display the time on the screen. We're going to make it very simple. We're going to show it on our watch's face, the most straightforward way before we proceed into more complex animations and complex visualizations. For now, I'm going to just create a simple property up here. And I'm going to populate this as I rebuild my widget. So within the timer.periodic, every second, we're going to trigger a rebuild on the widget tree so that we can just display the current time properly formatted so that you can see it at least the way that Rive is going to receive it. And if you see, I'm just formatting it to look like that, using just the 2-digit format and just padding it with a 0 if needed. And right here in the main container, all I'm going to do is just print out the resulting string after it has been formatted with the time properly displayed in there. So I'll use a center widget with a text widget in it. Let's make it white just so that we can see it for now. And if we reload it, and if you see, the time just displays normally inside of a regular text widget and just showing the time in there. But now I want to show this on the actual watch. So let's make sure that at least we're able to load it or even side load it onto our watch. And with the phone already connected and properly set up, I'm going to use ADB to finalize the pairing. So I'm going to use the commands ADB pair. I have to put the IP address and the Wi-Fi pairing code. The device is properly paired, as you can see it right there. And now I'm going to connect to it. In order for you to see it as an emulator, I'm going to use Screen Copy, which is an application that mirrors Android devices for video and audio connected via USB or TCP/IP and allows control using your computer's keyboard and mouse. So exactly what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it right from here. I'm going to open another terminal. and run the command screen copy. And if you see, that is the emulator right there, which I actually have the device connected to it. So you can see it right there. So you're going to be able to sideload your APK or this application as if it was any other type of Android device. So you could just invoke Flutter devices first just to make sure that everything is up and running. And now we're going to be able to target the wireless device that we just found, which is this one right here. You can use this unique identifier and then you can target it just like so. You can say Flutter run -d, the ID of the device, and you should be able to deploy it on the device. And that's it. With this, you were able to build a very simple watch face application. You were able to sideload it onto your device. You can actually see the actual time, but this is very basic, very plain. And now we're gonna go and flesh it out and bring Rive's magic into it. As far as bringing the time-related pieces that would feed the Rive experience, this is it. We're going to continue fleshing it out a little more, but now in the next video, we're going to focus only on the Rive experience, and then we're going to continue fleshing out this experience. Stay tuned for the next video. And with that, we wrap up the first video of the series. In the next video, we'll be heading into the Rive editor to design our premium custom watch face UI. So stick around, see you on the next video. Hey guys, this is Roman from Roman Just Codes. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found the content in this video very useful, and if you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the alert bells before you go. Thank you so much for watching.